The following is a rebroadcast of the Newark City Schools Board of Education's most recent general monthly meeting.
I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Newark City Schools Board of Education. It is December the 10th, 2012. We're meeting at the high school commons at 6:30 p.m. This evening I will appoint Kurt Harden as the treasurer pro tem. Call the roll, please, Mr. Harden.
Mr. Blind? Here. Mr. Bybee?
Here.
Mr. Carr?
Here.
Mr. Harden here. Mrs. Nickum.
Here, we have a quorum. And now if you would join Mr. Bybee in the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Why don't we rise? And there is a flag, not in the building here, but there is one that's out this window here. So if we could maybe face that way. And what I'd like to say, I guess, before the Pledge of Allegiance is about a month ago, we all had the opportunity and the pleasure to attend a conference of Ohio School Board. And, to me, it was really pleasing to see how well attended that is. There's over 10,000 people that attended that conference. And to me, it just speaks to how important people feel education, and particularly public education, is to this state. And how much that feeling transcends. Well, Dave, you're going to help us out there, aren't you?
Right.
How much that feeling of importance translates to the community that we live in. And it's such a good feeling to know that we have that positive momentum going forward, and that's shared by so many in the state. So I hope you'll join me in doing the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dan. Do we have a construction update tonight? No. Okay, we have a technology update.
Take that cover off too.
This is a good start to our technology update.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Is that on? There it is.
There we go.
There's those.
All right, so I'm Alex Kovach. This is Marcy Waymer. We're both technology integration specialists at the high school. And we put together, to start off, just a real quick movie trailer of some of the things that have been going on at the high school lately. Then we'll tell you a little bit about what steps we've done to get to this point.
on things.
So we finished with that little clip of a student talking about actually doing stuff instead of just listening to a teacher rant. And so there's a few things that we've done at the high school so far to try and go in that direction and have the kids learning more actively.
And one of the goals that we wanted to do was get the teachers more acquainted with the technology, because if a teacher's not familiar how to use the technology, they're not going to use it and it will just sit. And so how we left last time at the board meeting, we talked that next Tuesday we were holding a technology conference here at the high school. After that conference was held, we provided a survey to the staff to get results of that survey. There were 14 sessions. The teachers picked 7. Many teachers asked for another day like that. Many teachers said it was beneficial. They took the ideas that they learned from this conference and are starting to integrate them into their classrooms. With the technology, we had 7 sessions, how I said. Some teachers asked, hey, could we knock that down to 5 to give us more time to think about how to use this technology in the classroom. And so we've taken their ideas and hopefully we will use them in the next conference that we provide. Also, we talked about Apple training. That Thursday, Friday, after we met, Apple came in to do iMovie and iPhoto. We had 40 teachers go through that. Many teachers are now requesting the MacBooks and the iPads to do this in their classroom. Then last week we did iAuthor and iUniversity, and Alex is going to show you Mike McNichol's iBook that he created and used with his classroom today.
All right, so this was an example of the textbooks you can create with the Mac laptops that we have, and how the kids can view them on the iPads. They're really interactive textbooks. If you see up in the top left, that's an actual movie that's been embedded into the textbook, so you can add video clips, and we won't actually show all that, but you can add your own graphs, charts. If they click on it, it zooms in, goes full screen. Then they can go back to the text. He added a 3-question kind of self-check to see where you're at, if you understand what's been going on so far. And with those, you can go through, and it's not necessarily a test, but just to see if you're able to understand what you've been going through. Here you would just drag the phase of matter onto the appropriate spot on the graph. You check your answer, it tells you if you're right or wrong. In this book, very small, he made this in one or 2 nights over the weekend. We just did this training last week, and so just learning this, he's already made a whole section for a science class. He had the kids use a QR code to scan their iPad, scan the QR code with their iPad, and it automatically downloaded the book, so then they could all access this in class. And so that was just an example of something he's used today. A lot of teachers have started creating textbooks or are working on small textbooks or small sections to use later in the year.
We received our OGT test scores today. Teaching OGT classes in the past, I had the teacher who took over my position, and she called me, and she had 29 students in that class, and 15 of them passed the test. And so she asked me, what can we do next semester? And she asked me if I would be willing to help her create an iBook over the OGT standards, because there is no textbook for this class. We create everything on our own. So we've tried the traditional way in the fall. Now we're going to do the technology way and provide you data with that in the spring of how these kids will do with the interactive books and everything over social studies. Another thing that we've done in the classrooms with the teachers, since first quarter, half the MacBook carts are now being checked out almost daily. Ms. Grinrod is an OGT class, but her kids have already passed the OGT, and so she wanted to see how those kids could help other kids pass the OGT, and this is a sample of what a student has created. I'm not going to show you all the whole video that he's created. It's 2 minutes and 48 seconds, but his goal is to get this published to help other kids understand the Industrial Revolution. And when we went in there, we asked him to think about every type of learner. You know, you have your visual and kinesthetic. So he was thinking about that when he started thinking about this. And there's supposed to be sound, but it's saying we're playing it on a TV, but we're not. And they're speaking and playing music and talking about the Industrial Revolution and the things that happened all through this stuff.
So that's where we're at right now. We wanted to talk about some of the things coming up in the near future. A couple things that we've started working with teachers on. The biggest thing with this is it takes teachers a lot of time to plan for this stuff, especially when they don't feel comfortable with it right away. And so it may seem like we should be farther, but I think we're really far for how short we've had these devices in the classrooms. There's a lot of teachers that will just take stuff home over the weekend. They'll take their laptop home and they'll write a textbook chapter. So all that kind of stuff is really good. Some things we have coming are we just figured out how to work this thing called AirDrop on the Mac tops or the MacBooks, which will possibly lead to us being paperless. It allows students to just send files directly to the teacher. It allows teachers to share files to each other without having to use any email or any internet service. So that's something that we're excited to get the teachers trained on and the students using more. We've also talked about the possibility of students taking tests online, using different web apps to take quarterly assessments or short cycles to get their data back instantly. So we don't have to take the data downtown and wait for a few days, but we'll have everything instantly. So the student will know how they did before they even leave.
A couple English and history teachers are going to be using Google Docs to allow collaboration among the teachers or the students. And so the assignment can go quickly with them. And also the photography teachers, they usually have the students create a hard copy of a book that's with the lyrics. And now they are taking the MacBooks and using iPhoto and iMovie to make it digital with the photos they've taken and with the lyrics and stuff like that. So they're making a digital book. It's coming up. So then in January, we'll tell you how everything goes and what else is coming up.
Excuse me. Good job. I just had a couple of questions. OGT, what are you referring to? I heard you refer to that a couple times.
The Ohio graduation test, the test that 10th graders need to pass. The class that I was talking about is 11th grade, 12th grade students in that class, and we divide it up so we have classes that students have passed the test and class that students have not passed the test. The one that Grinrod teaches, those kids have passed the test, so they were the ones that were creating the media visuals to help the students that did not pass. And then Whitney Burst teaches the class that she'll keep the ones that did not pass. So we've tried the traditional setting with those students with the lecture, the worksheets, and so trying to do some more digital stuff with them, technology-wise, to incorporate those videos and stuff with them, creating that iBook. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I do need a projector. Thanks. All right. I was just going to give a quick update on some of the things we've been doing, some things I've been working on and working on with other people in the district in terms of social media and website stuff. One thing that is brand new today is up here on the top right corner. In case you can't find anything on our website, such as, I don't know, board policies, you can now search for it on our website, which wasn't there previously. So that's something that's just brand new today that I was able to get started. The big things that I've been working on, of course, is social media, our Facebook accounts and Twitter accounts. I know there are a couple board members who have Twitter and who have been helping with covering some of our events, Bev and Kurt. And kind of the idea here, I created just a social media page. Right now you can access it at a link on our front page right here. It's also under activities. Social media, and this is just kind of to aggregate. We have a lot of buildings that have their own pages. You can get links to theirs. And the kind of things we're sharing here are either reminders about, this Thursday there's a late arrival, or tonight's board meeting, or, I put up a little bit earlier on our Twitter account, there's a Liberty Middle School choir concert tonight. And so for each of the schools that have Facebook accounts, they're sharing those kind of things that are specific to those schools. We also currently have a district Twitter account, an athletic Twitter account, and Heritage Middle School also has its own. So anyway, so if you come to this particular page on our website, you can find everything that's related to anything social media that we have in the district right here. You can watch, any videos that we have on our YouTube account, which are both things that I go around and that I shoot. I was at Wilson Middle School this morning. They had a BMX stunt group there, and then a lot of things that, of course, the high school television program shoots. There's just a playlist here, and you can kind of go through different things that pretty much every video are. We also have a YouTube website. We're just Newark Schools on YouTube. And then, for Facebook, like if you don't have a Facebook account, you can still keep up with what we're doing. A lot of what's on Facebook is, let's click on it. A lot of photo galleries that I share, either from me going around and taking pictures, or people at the different staff members at the different buildings. We also have in this Post by Others area some parents who will occasionally share pictures of their children at pancake dinner at McGuffey or different things like that. So it's been a lot of photos and a lot of some event coverage. And over here is our Twitter feed. This is the school district account. Eventually, this will actually be on the front page of our website also. On the right side, on the front page, as soon as the coding gets done. It's real time. As soon as you tweet something, like I was just sitting here and I tweeted a picture of Marcy and Alex at their giving their presentation. And one kind of neat thing, last week on Thursday night, we had a Christmas program at Hillview Elementary, a pancake dinner at McGuffey, and then each of the middle schools had basketball games going on all at the same time. And we had staff members at each event who were taking pictures and tweeting them, and then I would take from the district account and tweet them out to anybody who is interested or who is following. We did the same thing on Friday night. The boys varsity team was at Pickerington North, and the girls varsity team was hosting Pickerington North. And we actually, the athletics Twitter account is on the athletics page currently. So that night, I was at the girls' game, and Ruth Handelman, a parent of a basketball player, was at the girls' game, and we were both tweeting. And then we had a couple people at the boys' game also. So we could be, I was at the girls' game, and I was keeping tabs on the boys' game by reading my Twitter account, and the same thing anybody else could do, either on their smartphones or, again, if you don't have an account, you can come to our website, and if you know there's a game going on and you're wondering, hey, it's 9 o'clock, I wonder how it's going, you can visit our website and see pictures from the games and just real-time updates. I think that's about what I was going to share. Does anybody have any questions or?
Very nice.
Okay.
Could you just touch on quickly where you added that fundraiser tab?
Yes. There's also up here at the, along the top, I added another link up here. Along the top, we have a number of drop-down menus. One, this over the Board of Education. I've had a couple people ask where they can get board policies, and board policies link has always been on the board's page right over here, but now I've added it as a drop-down link, so if you're interested in looking up board policies, it's quick and easy right there. We have a district fundraisers link, which the goal is to have, if there's a fundraiser going on in the district, hopefully they send me the information, I will be able to get it up here. Obviously I need to take this one down, but a lot of times, there might be a eat at Red Oak Pub and raise money for John Clem or something like that. And the idea is that we'll put, at one point we had a calendar when a lot of those were going on, where you could go and see on November 5th, and you could download the coupon and print it and take it to the restaurant. So I expect that'll probably get going again after the holiday break.
Thank you, Seth.
All right.
Anyone have any questions? Looks good, thank you. And now we'll take communications from the floor. Anyone wishing to address the board can approach the podium. Please give your name, address, and you may speak for up to 5 minutes. Does anyone wish to address the board at this time?
Hi, thank you for having me. My name's Dan German. I've been a lifelong resident of Newark, an '87 graduate from the high school. I've coached football in the district. Hope to do that again soon. My concern falls to my son and his participation in bowling. I don't know if I've ever seen any of you at a bowling match, but I would welcome you. I'm sure Coach Holland would do the same when he speaks. One of my concerns is the things that my son has had to do this year that we've never had to do for bowling is, one, he's now drug tested. It's not a varsity sport according to Newark. We're still paying to participate. We have to buy our own jerseys, our own shirts for him to participate in bowling. There's no school awards for this. We're doing eligibility. We had to attend a winter sports meeting, the same as when I coached football. Our kids had to come to the fall sports meeting, which I'm sure some of you have sat through. We had to do that for the first time this year. And my question would be, all of those things benefit the school. What benefits my son that's participating in bowling? What gives back to him? What does Newark give back to him? And I'm asking that he be allowed to letter as a varsity sport. I believe, Mr. You said on the OHSAA Central Board of Directors. Is that-
Secretary,
Yeah. That it's recognized as a varsity sport. There's a OHSAA state championship for bowling. If you would have told me 5 years ago, and I share this with my son, that I would be in a bowling alley cheering, I kind of laugh, but I am. Every weekend I am. That my son's there, I'm there every weekend. And you would have never thought that I'm in the, so it's touching for me because I know what it means to my son. In the 2 years he's bowled junior varsity up until this year, I've not watched him lose a match. Coach Holland's their JV coach, and I don't know that you've lost a match in 2 years, have you, Coach? Well, yeah. But I've watched him win a league title every year, and now my son this year made varsity, and it seems like he's the one given. He's the one given, and I think he should have the right to earn a varsity letter for giving. And thank you very much for your time and listening. Does anyone have any questions? I guess that's what you ask, isn't it?
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address the board this evening?
Hello, my name is Jody Holland. I live at 1645 Abbey Drive here in Newark. I am a graduate of Newark High School in '78 and of the vocational school. We have had high school bowling in Licking County for 8 years now. There's been 5 to 6 schools participating. And the idea of the bowling, yes, it's just bowling, but you don't have to be big, speedy. You don't have to be smart to bowl. The thing about bowling, it gives a student another opportunity to excel in a sport, possibly to give them some confidence. Generally on our tryouts, we have always had at least 50 kids try out between boys and girls. And this year, I think we have, I'm not sure, 30 to 35 kids between the boys and girls. We have 2 JV teams and 2 varsity teams. And we have made it to the state finals, which is really quite an accomplishment. We have had 2 teams do that, and we've had 2 individuals make state finals. So I guess what I'm really stressing is our varsity talent. In the past, the girls, Coach Wiley's team at one point was 21-0 for 2 seasons. They never lost a match. And I didn't go Friday. The varsity boys bowled against Reynoldsburg, and our matches consist of 2 regular games, and then they have a game called a Baker game. Well, our Newark boys shot a 290. Well, 300 is perfect. So it's not too often that you're going to have a group of boys shoot scores like this. Since we have started, we have been self-supporting. We've done different fundraising to pay for our matches. It's a cost of, in the area of $35 per team each Saturday, and we have 4 teams that bowl. And this year is the first year we're not at Valley Lanes. We do not get free practice. So now we have to pay for practice, which we haven't in the past 7 years. So that's an additional cost. Since we have started, Mr. Brucker at Brucker and Kishler has donated all the uniform cost, which has really helped out, and we really support or appreciate his support. And the thing about bowling, it's similar with golf. We don't use your gym, your fields. We need no referees, no officials. All that is done through the coaches between visiting and home team. All the kids buy their own equipment, bowling balls, shoes, whatever. We do get a lot of equipment donated. We generally will have 10 matches in our Licking County League. The OCC, or I'm not sorry, in our Licking County match, and that consists of teams of Newark, Heath, Granville, Utica, Highland from Mount Vernon is in our conference. Lakewood, Licking Valley. I don't know if I left any team out. And then we have 5 OCC matches where we travel to Columbus. And when we do that, we use our personal cars and carpool. Parents pitch in and take kids with us. And Coach German did make a comment. I've been in this for 8 years, and I have not once had an AD at any of our matches. We've had a few principals at our matches and some teachers, but not once have I seen, that I could be wrong, a board member or an AD at any of our matches. Along with the coaching part, again, this is all volunteer, and we know that, but out of our own pockets, we have paid for CPR training, the pupils activity course, some classes through OHSAA that's been required, background check, and at one point we did ask for some reimbursement and was told no. So I hope we kind of put a little light on the subject with the high school bullying. It is really big. If you ever make it to a finals, you'll think you're at a football game because it's really amazing. 2 questions I want to ask, and this, I don't know if this is related to the board. I've been told that if a team makes it to the state finals, they do get part of the money through tickets and whatever. And I understand, since we have been there 2 to 3 times, I would like to know where that money went. And if it, I feel it should go back to the bowling. And again, we did 2 fundraisers at Pizza Cottage and City Barbecue. And again, that money was supposedly gone to the Newark Boosters or the athletic department. I don't know. I'm wondering why that should be brought back to the bowling team. And again, just a question for my own personal. I don't know if this board is connected with the $1 Million Dream for the pay-to-play. I understand now that Newark's not doing that now, and some of that money is that going for the arts, is that correct? Do you know? I thought I read that in the paper.
Yeah, I can get with you after the meeting.
Okay.
But we don't do
Okay. And I understand the other part with Mr. Mitchell took care of those other things. I'm not concerned with that, but I'm just wondering if this money is starting to go the wrong way since there's not pay to play. And here we are, our bowlers, they can't even, some of the bowlers can't even afford to buy a belt for our uniforms. So I thank you for your time, and I hope I shed a little bit of light on the subject. Is there any questions?
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the board this evening?
Good evening. My name is John Pickrell. I live at 415 Arlington Avenue in Newark, and I'm a 1960 graduate of Newark High School. And I support Mr. German and the coach. I am raising a 15-and-a-half-year-old grandson who is totally involved in bowling. He's in the band. He's master counselor at DMLA at the present time. And these boys and girls involved in this bowling teams are concentrating on scholarships offered through the colleges now. My own grandson is hoping to get high enough average to be accepted as a full scholarship at Wichita, Kansas for an orthopedic surgeon. And he is only one of numerous boys and girls in the last few years that I've noticed and heard talk about scholarships through the colleges. And for Newark not to step in and support these kids is amazing. And that's all I really have to say. I think Newark should step in and really get behind these kids and give them the support that they need. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board this evening?
Yeah, I just want to say to you guys, the general way this works is you share with us, and then it's not a back and forth or a response time. Don't think us uncaring. Don't think anything like that. Just thank you for bringing information to us that we need to know.
Our students are eligible. That was a slip of the tongue on Coach Holland's part, but our kids are eligible and they are held to that academic standard of being eligible.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to treasurer's recommendations.
We have several treasurer's recommendations for your consideration. First is approval of the minutes of the November 5th, 2012 meeting and the November 15th, 2012 special meeting. We also have approval of November 12th financial statements and payment to vendors in the amount of $4,860. We also have approval of fiscal year 2013 supplemental permanent appropriations resolution. You can see the three items on there totaling to $9,182. Item D is approval to participate in the OSBA Legal Assistance Fund. This is $250 for all the schools in the state to put into this, so that if something comes up that has a common there's a sort of a common thread among all the schools, we can assist one another in defraying legal costs. Item E is date, time, and place for the organizational meeting. We need to set that organizational meeting, and I don't know if you want to set that now, or if you want me to go on and then set it as part of the motion.
The date we've discussed is January 12th from 8 till 4, well, for 8 a.m. till whenever. At the hub.
Great. Item F is to appoint a president pro tem, and that is simply to say that we recommend that the board appoint a president pro tem for the January organizational meeting. Do you want me to take that now? Take a motion, a recommendation on that?
I'll propose a recommendation that Bev Nickum be the president pro tem for the meeting.
Mr. Bybee proposes Mrs. Nickum. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Blind, second. Any discussion? Any other nominations for President Pro Tem? That being said, we'll take the roll on that. Mr. Bybee?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Harden, yes. Mrs. Nickum?
Yes.
Thank you. Item G is the appointment of the designees for public records request. It's recommended the Board of Education appoint Seth Roy and Tammy Berry to be the board designees to manage the public records request. So we have really items A, B, C, D. We ought to take a motion on E and G. So if I could get a motion on those items?
So moved.
Mr. Blind?
Second.
Mr. Bybee, second. Any discussion? Take the roll. Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Bybee?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Harden? Yes. Mrs. Nickum?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Thank you, Kurt. Superintendent's recommendations.
Okay, under item 1 through 8, retirements and resignations. Item 1, I'll point out a couple of them. We appreciate Tommy Adam, William Cooperrider, Catherine Nisley, and Roger Weirs. Tommy has 32 years of driving a school bus in our district. William, 10 years, Catherine, 12, and Roger, 11. We really appreciate their efforts for the educational process here at Newark, and appreciate everything they've done for us. Also, you see the supplemental contracts we have in here for assistant wrestling, middle school basketball, and 5th grade team leader at Heritage. We have no leaves of absence, appointment and assignments. Under item 3, are located there, supplemental contracts again. Be Sarah Groover, Lindsay McQuillan, and Randy Noss, high school track. Salary adjustments, I'll call attention to that. Some of these people were on the board agenda before, when there were 4 people splitting the wrestling, now there's 3 splitting those same positions, so there's a reposition of how they're dividing that. Also, Greg Forsyth was, I think he was at .17 before, it should be .33, so Greg's on there also. Under item 7, substitutes, again, Barbara and Maura just left to go to Liberty's Christmas program, but I want to point out the work that Barbara does for getting subs and that stuff for the district. We're always in need of that. And under other, there is no other, so I recommend items 1 through 8 under personnel.
Do I have a motion to approve superintendent's recommendations, A, personnel?
So moved.
Tim has moved, Dan is second. Any discussion?
I just had one question. Under supplementals, Randy Knopf, is he head boys track coach or girls?
I think he's had boys and girls.
Both?
I think, yeah. I think that's how they divide that, and then he gets it.
Okay, call the roll, please, Kurt.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Bybee?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Harden, yes. Mrs. Nickam?
Yes, motion carries.
Under students and curriculum, item B, item 2, under that special ed contracts, special education contracts with schools that are providing services for our students, East Knox, Lancaster, St. Clairsville, and Urbana are on there. Under item C, gifts from Delaney Quality Consultants, $4,430. We appreciate, I believe that's Deb Delaney, is that right, Mindy? Deb Delaney, who comes in and does some professional development and those type of things for us, and we appreciate that gift, and that'll be used at McGuffey Elementary School. Addendum under D that Dave has on there, which should be in your packet, is item 3, acceptance of bids. It's recommended the Board of Education accept the bids for the projected title NHS High School Fine Arts Storage Building, which is that building when we began the project a couple years ago here at the high school, was tore down so that we could construct the additional in the back of the Fine Arts building. So, and then item 4 is awarding of the bids, Fine Arts Storage Building to TPV Design and Build for $52,500. And that is located, general area, probably not in the exact same spot, but it's back behind there, very close behind the Fine Arts Building.
Do I have a motion to approve superintendent's recommendations B, C, and D, including the addendum?
So moved.
Tom has moved, Tim is second. Any questions or discussion?
I just wanted to mention, under the special education services, people notice, it seems like every month we've got a few of these, and I think it's always good to point out, these are things that within certain parameters, we are legally bound to provide.
Most of these students are foster students placed, that we're responsible for, that are placed in other districts around the state. And so every month we seem to have those situations pop up, just as other districts are responsible for when a foster child is placed in our district, in a home in our district, that home district is responsible for that education. Thanks for pointing that out, Tom. I had, before you vote, I'm sorry, I had another under other there, just I'd sent out an email, but I want to just mention it to the board that the technology director position that the board talked about last month and approved for LACA to hire. There's been a little bit of discussion, a lot of discussion, and a little bit of disagreement on this. We receive E-rate funds that come back through our district to LACA to pay for our ITC program and funding for them. So there's a little bit of discussion about we would be in danger of losing those funds that come back because of a conflict of interest if LACA hired that person. I'm not about to get put the district in jeopardy of losing $200,000 of E-rate funds that would come back. I would tell you, though, LACA did or is continuing on with a process for us, and that process was the posting of the position, the screening as a rubric that was developed. They feel like they have some really good candidates. They screened those candidates. They will send the finals on 3, maybe 4 people on to Mindy, myself, Barbara, and Jeff, and for us, and then we will end up hiring that person. So that's where we're at with the technology director position.
Clarification, is that an item we've made a motion on, or is that just a point? I'm just trying to make sure I understand this.
No, that's just under other.
Okay.
Just a
No,
point of
we don't.
information.
No, the board authorized us to go ahead and enter into that contract. We just won't enter into it because I think we can all agree it is not worth jeopardizing funds that would come to this district. But we appreciate John Bowers and LACA staff, their support of that position.
Any other discussion? Not call the roll, please, Kurt.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Bybee?
Yes.
Mr. Harden, yes. Mrs. Nickum?
Yes, motion carries. Now I'll announce our intent to adopt the following board policies that will be available to board, staff, and the public for inspection in the Office of the Superintendent of Schools from December 11th, 2012 through January 14th, 2012. From the SALT Committee, File 2260, Non-Discrimination and Access to Equal Educational Opportunity. From the Personnel Committee, File 1422, File 3122, and File 4122, all dealing with the non-discrimination and equal employment opportunity. From the Finance Committee, File 6107, Authorization to accept and distribute electronic records and to use electronic signatures. From Operations, File 8210, the school calendar. And now it is recommended the Board of Education adopt the following policies. From the SALT Committee, File 2340, Field Trips. File 2623, Student Assessment and Academic Prevention Intervention Services. File 2623.02, Third Grade Reading Guarantee. File 5410, Promotion, Acceleration, Placement, and Retention. File 5460, Graduation Requirements. From the Personnel Committee, File 1411, File 3211, and File 4211, all having to do with the whistleblower protection. All these were announced at the November 5th, 2012 meeting, and I will now entertain a motion to approve these policies.
So moved.
Dan has moved. Tim is second. Any discussion? Not call the roll, please, Kurt.
Mr. Bybee?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Harden, yes. Mrs. Nickum?
Yes, the policies are approved. And now board discussion. We can start at Kurt's end.
I would pass.
I just want to encourage everybody to have a wonderful Christmas. It's a great time to be a Wildcat. Somebody I know says that a lot. And it truly is. There's so much good going on in the district. And so I'm encouraged by that.
I'd just like to encourage people to come out. We've got a lot of kids participating in a lot of plays, a lot of shows, a lot of athletics. There's things to go to every night. Just check the website. There's plenty to go see and do. And with that, I'd just like to wish everybody a happy holidays.
Thank you. Dan, Jody, John, thank you all for coming tonight. We appreciate hearing about it, and again, we appreciate the concerns that you brought to our attention. That young man sitting next to you there, is he a bowler on the team there? Okay, would you stand up, young man? Maybe you could tell us who you are.
I'm a junior here at the high school. I graduated in 2014. And Coach Holland and Coach Smart, Mrs. Wiley, and her husband, Mr. Wiley, have all been really supportive of us for the past a great experience for me. This year was the first year I think we've ever struggled to meet a good amount of numbers. And I think part of that would be pay to participate, but I'm a student.
Well, I appreciate you being here. I know the board does as well, and Coach and the parents, and John, appreciate you being here as well. I also want to take a minute and thank Delaney for the gift of the iPads. You know, if anything is going to make our district current, it's how well and how proficient we are in electronic media. And this is just a great gift, and again, want to thank them for their support. Thank you, buddy.
Me already? Just to kind of stretch out a little bit what the tech staff had done here tonight. We are, Alex and I may not share the same view. I think we're miles ahead of where we were a year ago, and I think you always have to step back and look at that, and we're going to be miles ahead of where we're at now in a few months. And I just want to let the staff know how much we appreciate their dedication, and they've kind of fell in love with this project. A lot of them have, and our students benefit. I was in a classroom one day last week, and they were doing an iPad project, and a young man turned to me and said, "Hey, I used to be a troublemaker, but I like this class." And it was kind of a standpoint, because it wasn't a school within a school class. It was what we normally would call a traditional class. And Sue Grinrod has really stepped up to the plate in that class and turned the learning over to the students, and they're really excited about it. And they did some neat projects, and so I took Alex and a few people here from the high school, Mora, Oregon. We went over, and Tim Carr shared that. We were over at Legend about Thanksgiving time. Tim, what classroom were we in?
Mrs. Philhauer's class.
Yeah, yes.
Fifth grade.
And I took those people from the high school over so that they could come back and share the message. Get ready, because the learning with the iPads that was going on in that classroom that day, that's a style of learner that you have, and I think our high school needs to know that's what's coming your way. And we started last spring and talking a lot about if you're rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're a 2, become a 3. If you're a 6, become a 7, and those type of things. And I've had a lot of conversation with our staff about where you think you are now. Where are you at now? And a lot of them have jumped up 2 and 3 points in their mind. And so I just appreciate that. I think it's awesome, because when you do that, we'll start talking about when you're creating lessons and textbooks and things like that. We'll be talking to the board very shortly this year about going to year 2013 and 2014 on a snow day, about having school at home and learning, and our teachers creating those lessons that kids can go on at home and learn. And not every child will have that opportunity, so you have to have a backup plan for that. And so we'll be talking a little bit about those type of things, and it's kind of neat. I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited about the excitement that's up here. So I compliment our staff and our students and for that. And another group, and I'll end on this. You have a small token of Doug and Corey Utes' appreciation of what you do in front of you. Be wary of the pretzels. They're not regular pretzels. They have about 7 or 8 different spices on them, and will bite you if you don't watch. Don't grab a handful and throw them in. Try one. But I talk all the time about in communities. And I talk here at the school, everybody has to be a leader. We've got students running the cameras, and we've got a young man back here at Bowles and does some other things there. And everybody has to be a leader in our district for it to be successful, and that's our students, our staff. And one group we fail to bring up a lot of times is the group sitting up here in front of us that do this every month. And it's not a 2-hour a week or a month job that they do as a school board. And I just appreciate, because every community needs good leaders. So we appreciate so much what you people do for our kids in our community here. So thank you very much, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Doug. First off, I wanted to say Zap Zanesville. This evening, the Lady Cats are playing a little basketball in Zanesville this evening.
I'll check Twitter out, see how they're doing.
Yeah, check Twitter and see.
Oh, they haven't tipped off. All right, see, that's the advantage of Twitter.
Tip-off is in just a few minutes. So Zap Zanesville, good luck to the Lady Cats. Thank you for coming and speaking this evening. I will tell you, I've been a Newark Wildcat bowling fan for quite some time and have attended some matches. And in fact, Mr. Peck, and I can't remember if it was Brad or his cousin Zach. Brett, yeah. Yeah, he did a 300 game. Yeah, so we're quite proud of our bowling team and the accomplishments that they've had at the state level, and Mr. Peck with his 300 a couple years ago. And that's, let's see, how many choir concerts and band concerts and basketball games do we have over the next 2 weeks? I don't know, 20, 25, 30. So get out there. There's lots to see, lots to enjoy. I think just any night of the week, look at the calendar. There's something going on every night between now and Christmas. And happy holidays. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Carr?
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Tim and then Tom, sorry. Meeting adjourned.